Hello, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking day 10 of our source material and setting the stage to talk about something that's literally the absolute bedrock of your working life. We're talking about the core of professional integrity. You know, we throw that word integrity around a lot, don't we? It sounds so grand, almost like it belongs carved on a marble pillar somewhere. But today's text completely demystifies it. We're going to strip it down to its most practical, everyday application. We'll look at why this one single trait outlasts talent, outlasts luck, and ultimately dictates the whole trajectory of your career. Because integrity? Well, it isn't just some nice personality quirk, it's a structural necessity.
But right before we get into the thick of it, I've got a quick question for you. Did you watch the Day 9 challenge? I'm asking because, let's be honest, building momentum is everything in this process. Yesterday, we looked at the mechanics of taking ownership over small failures, right? And that ability to face those uncomfortable truths head-on is exactly what fuels your capacity to maintain integrity today. We aren't just throwing isolated ideas at the wall. We are building a foundation, step by step, day by day. So if you haven't done yesterday's challenge yet, you're missing a pretty vital piece of the puzzle that leads right into what we're tackling today.
Now, if you did miss it, no worries at all, but you'll definitely want to catch up. You can find all the previous days right over on the Transide Consulting YouTube channel. Head over there and honestly, make sure you subscribe straight away. We're building something pretty substantial here, and you'll want to be notified the very second the next piece of this explainer drops so you don't lose that hard-earned momentum.
All right, let's move right into our next section, the professional lesson.
Okay, let's dive into this. The text says, your professional reputation is built on what you consistently do. I really want you to feel the philosophical weight of those words. We so often fall into this trap, right? Thinking our reputations are forged by massive, highly visible grand gestures. You picture the executive who swoops in at the 11th hour to save a doomed project, delivering this flawless, high-octane presentation that dazzles the board. And sure, that looks like success. But the source material points us to a much quieter and honestly more profound truth. It's the consistency. Picture instead the colleague who just never misses a deadline, the one who thoroughly researches their points before speaking up or quietly cleans up messy data without ever asking for a round of applause. Fast forward 5 years. The flashy executive is remembered for a few dramatic rescues, sure. But that quiet colleague? They've become the indispensable cornerstone of the whole company. It's that series of small, seemingly insignificant daily actions that actually builds the monument of your reputation.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real crux of the matter, the divide between how we act when supervision is present versus when nobody is watching. It's a fascinating psychological tension. Just think about the organizational behavior at play here. When the boss is in the room or, the client is CC'd on an email thread, everyone naturally sits up a bit straighter. Responses are sharper, code is cleaner, reports are double-checked. We're basically biologically and socially wired to perform when eyes are on us. It's just a basic survival mechanism in a hierarchy. But the text pushes us to realize that the truest test of those consistent actions happens entirely in the shadows. What happens when that external pressure just vanishes? Does the quality of your work instantly degrade? Because when you are completely, utterly unmonitored, the only thing enforcing your standard is your own internal compass. And that is exactly where true professionals are separated from the amateurs.
Which brings us to the precise definition we're working from today. Integrity means your standards do not change simply because supervision is absent. Let's really unpack that phrasing because it is absolutely brilliant. A true professional has a baseline of behavior that remains totally rigid. It doesn't flex just because the audience changed. Let's look at a concrete example. Imagine it's 9 p.m. on a Friday. You're sitting entirely alone at your desk, finalizing an internal financial report. Suddenly, you spot a minor formatting error way down on page 42. Nobody will ever double-check this specific page. Your manager is probably only going to read the executive summary. The overwhelming temptation is to just hit send and finally start your weekend. But the source text suggests that combating that exact slip in standards is the very essence of integrity. You fix page 42 not for the boss, but for yourself. Your standard remains exactly the same. The absence of a watchful eye does not lower the bar.
Moving on to our next section, today's challenge.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the tension it highlights. I mean, understanding the theory is one thing, but we're here to actually change how we work. The constant, everyday friction we all face really comes down to taking a shortcut versus reflecting our professional standards. We're all busy, right? And there's this immense daily temptation to just cut a corner because it's quote-unquote good enough. What does that actually look like in practice? Well, maybe it's skipping a crucial peer code review because you just want to push a feature out before lunch. Or it's sending a generic, copy-pasted email template to a new client instead of taking the extra 5 minutes to personalize it.
Or maybe it's glancing at a questionable financial figure in a spreadsheet and just deciding not to trace it back to its source, because hey, investigating is going to take an hour. The shortcut is always the path of least resistance, but that easy way out, that's exactly what subtly erodes the standard you're meant to uphold when nobody is watching.
So, the crucial point is how you execute this today. Let's frame this as a real-time mental exercise. Step 1. Identify an area where a shortcut is tempting. I want you to mentally scan your task list for today, right now. Look for the friction. Which task makes you sigh? Where are you most likely to compromise just to get it off your desk a bit faster? Do you have it? Okay, hold on to that thought. Now, step 2. Choose the option that reflects your professional standards. And look, this is where it gets uncomfortable. When you hit that exact moment of temptation today, when your finger is quite literally hovering over the mouse to take the easy way out, you've got to pause. Acknowledge that choosing the harder path feels irritating. Embrace that friction, and then actively select the better option. Put in the extra 5 minutes. Do it right, even if absolutely nobody will ever know the difference. Because that deliberate choice, that is you reinforcing your own professional foundation.
I'm going to leave you with this powerful thought. Where will you choose integrity today? I want to demand a personal commitment from you right now. Don't just treat this explainer as an interesting concept and then go back to moving through your day on autopilot. Find that specific shortcut you were planning to take today and commit to the higher standard instead. That is how you build a truly bulletproof professional reputation, one unwatched, consistent moment at a time. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a brilliant day putting this into practice, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow for the next explainer.